Why did you decide to write this book?
I decided to write this book because I work with a lot of families, and I have for many years, and I see the same thing. A lot of behaviors, parents trying to solve the problem by curbing the behaviors and not really understanding to look underneath the behaviors of what's going on underneath. And that's their nervous systems. And this is a little personal for me as well. My nervous system was in overdrive for many years. And when I learned how to regulate my own body, I noticed a huge shift in my whole paradigm. And I realized this is the same thing that these kids are going through. And not just the kids, but the parents. These parents have a lot of PTSD from the different things that they deal with every single day. And their nervous systems are in overdrive as well and in massive overwhelm all the time. And nobody talks about this. And we hear all the things to do when there's a behavior. Let's do this, let's do that. But we don't learn how to regulate our bodies. And when we do regulate our bodies, what that does for our children.
So what was it that you were seeing over and over again with families that made you feel like this needed to be shared?
I saw a lot of meltdowns. I saw a lot of behaviors, and I saw a lot of parent stress. I saw a lot of disruption in people's families and not a lot of peace in people's families. And I realized that when we are able to start regulating ourselves and our kids, that peace can follow. I also realized that a lot of times we think control is the answer. When a child's having a bad behavior, that we can quickly run into control. But what happens is when kids are in the middle of a meltdown, their thinking brain is completely shut down. We can't, that's not the time to teach a kid, hey, we don't do that. That part of their brain is completely turned off at that point. So I really just wanted to give parents a way to learn and to move forward and to find more peace with their kids and in their own lives as well.
What's the biggest misconception parents have about their child's behavior?
I think a lot of time it's like, why isn't he listening? Why isn't she listening to me? Or I wonder what's going on when they hit, or we constantly are thinking what triggered it. But really what it is their nervous system is telling them something's amiss inside my body. And I'm trying to tell you, they're communicating with us through their bodies. And we don't have exactly the language to understand that.
You talk about connection over control. What does that actually look like in real life?
I have a kid that I work with that people would say that he's quite severe. And honestly, I think his nervous system is in massive dysregulation or has been. So a lot of frustration, and sometimes it's pulling my hair. It's wanting some proprioception from my body. Proprioception means they want to figure out where they're at in space. And so a lot of times they will grab and use your body to help them figure out where they're at. Some of the things that I've done with this young adult when he starts to get frustrated is allowing him to get it out. I'm not shutting the behavior off. He'll suddenly scream. And I say, yeah, that's right. Let it out. Let it out. Whatever it is, let's get it out. Or he'll grab something and he'll bite something that we're working with and he'll bite it really hard. I'm like, that's right. Let it out. Let out what needs to come out of your body right now. And then I said, and then come right back to me. And he does. And he'll come right back in. He'll make eye contact with me again. Basically just letting him know that I'm listening. When he's having this behavior, I'm listening. And I'm not shutting it down, but I'm listening. I can tell something in his body right now is erupting and he needs to let it out. I'm not trying to control it. I'm not trying to shut him down. And I'm letting him know, okay, I'm here for you. I'm in this space with you and I understand right now something inside of you is stressed out. When you're ready, come on back to me. And he does every time. It's beautiful.
So when a child is overwhelmed or dysregulated, what's really going on in their body?
So when a child gets overregulated or an adult, the thinking part of their brain is completely turns off. It's like nights, it's out. And when that turns off, That's the time when we as parents, as caregivers, we want to help hey, here's what we need to do. Let's take a breath. Let's do this. And that's the worst thing we could possibly do. It's not a teaching moment right then. Their body goes into fight or flight mode, and we just have to wait it out.
What do you think most people don't understand about what parents are going through in those hard moments?
I think what most people don't understand that it's not a simple answer. It never is. It's not a simple, "Oh, let me just give my child this and the problem is solved." And how much a little compassion goes a long way. I've seen it before, and a lot of times parents get really embarrassed. They're embarrassed because they think to themselves, "My child knows better." I think the hardest thing is that they're judging themselves as a parent, that they're a bad parent because these things happen.
What is a child actually trying to communicate during a meltdown?
A lot of times, the biggest thing is their expectation was not met. And when that expectation wasn't met, they suddenly become unsafe. An alarm goes off in their brain and they go into fight or flight mode. And the typical response when a child goes into fight or flight mode is to fawn on them. And that's not what they need at that moment. It's just say, you know what? I'm here for you in this moment. Something I do with some of my kids is I just sit next to them. If they allow touch, I just touch them and say, I'm here with you in this moment, and let them breathe through it. The worst thing you could say is, "Oh, take a breath. Take a breath." That's not gonna happen in moments like that. Another thing I do with some of my kids is I'll just start tapping, sometimes on my chest, and I'll say, "Here's my calm heartbeat. See if you can find your calm heartbeat." Something as simple as that, it's a little bit of a distraction to pull them away from that fight or flight mode and bring them back into a little bit of reality. And one of my kids, when he starts to become dysregulated, you can see him. His brain is just going, 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 and he'll tap his leg, and he's trying to come back, and it's the sweetest thing. And when I started with this kid, he was so dysregulated, it to the point where it caused him a lot of anxiety and just so much stress and heaviness on his body. It must have been so exhausting. And watching him now when he's trying to bring it back in it's really beautiful. Like, you can see him doing the work.
Why is movement such a powerful tool for helping kids regulate?
Movement is huge because a lot of these kids and people with ADHD, which I have, we have a hard time figuring out where we're at in space. We can it be looked at as clumsy. And when you start moving your body, you start to feel where you're at in space. The more you move, and a lot of times it gives these kids a lot of confidence in themselves, and they start to feel whole. Um, the biggest thing for me in the water, watching these kids in the water, their bodies don't always move the way they want them to on land, but in water, their bodies respond so beautifully, and that's why I see so much regulation in the water with these kids. They almost bring it to themselves. I mean, granted, the water also helps them, pushing in on them on all sides, but just that movement in the water, their bodies doing the things they want them to, it's really beautiful and it calms them. It's I haven't seen anything else as beautiful as what water can do for these kids, and they're drawn to it. They love the water. A lot of times in OT and different therapies, they do a lot of heavy work, and that helps them find where their body is at in space. It's really proprioception is huge for these kids. It really gives them what their body needs. So any type of gross motor movement with their bodies is incredible. I see it with my kids when we do dance or we do rhythm movement, and it really gives their body what they need.
What's one simple thing a parent can try at home when things feel overwhelming?
When you see your child start to have a meltdown, just going and sitting near them, not saying anything, just sitting near them, relaxing your body, but basically bringing calm into the situation, coming in calm. A lot of times I feel like it's the end of the day, maybe a meltdown's coming on, and we as parents are maybe coming in a little bit too hot. And that's the worst thing we could do for their nervous system at that moment. But you come in with your calm body and even your calm mind. You got to push things out of your mind for just a minute and let them feel it. Let them feel of your calm and let them borrow it till they can find theirs again.
What starts to change when a parent shifts from trying to control behavior to focusing on connection?
I think the biggest thing is that your kid begins to trust you more. The fight or flight response becomes less and less. I don't want to say they stop it, but they maybe curb it. I have a kid who, when he gets really dysregulated, he goes to pull my hair. And I just stay with him in that space, and he looks at my face, and instead of pulling my hair now, he just presses down really hard on my hair. He just pushes down a little bit, gets what he needs, pulls back. It changes their behavior. It changes the way they interact with you. But the biggest thing that you can give it gives them is safety. They feel safe with you to be themselves, and you'll start to see them change their behaviors a little bit. They become gentler and maybe not in the moment. It may still, you still could get that punch, but that after that hit, the scratch, but the afterwards coming back down and learning how to regulate a little quicker, especially when we are there and not with big responses. Another reason I wrote this book is to share with parents some of the experiences that can't be taught in a classroom. And it's life. It's the things that happen to us every single day and looking through it through a different lens. The past can be a really good teacher, and as I have reflected back on a lot of the different mistakes I made, it seems so blaringly obvious the things I did wrong, and I want to help other parents from making the same mistakes.